Hello everybody, it's Asset Builder here, and this video is all about whether the East is outsmarting the West, especially countries like China and India and Russia, and their acquisitions of gold into their countries. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about whether the East is smarter than the West right now. We'll be right back. Hey, thanks everybody for returning. Asset Builder here, and this video's topic is whether the East is outsmarting the West with regards to their economic finances and their future protection against economic collapse. So, we've seen a lot of videos and a lot of articles written about whether the East is acquiring gold and silver in a frantic pace, and I think that's true. Countries such as China, for example, every ounce that's produced within their country, mined out of their ground, must remain inside China. It cannot be sold outside of China. So the miners, yeah, they're allowed to sell it, but there's only one buyer, and that's the Chinese government. They want to acquire every single ounce of gold that they possibly can. Plus, they're importing tons of gold every year. Let's take a look at this next slide here. So, for example, here are an estimated growth in China's official gold reserves. So, since the financial crisis in 0809, back then, China's official gold reserves were about 1,000 tons of gold. In about 10 years, so here we are in 2017, if you take a look at the graph, we're just under or China is just under 5,000 tons of gold. So they've quintupled their gold reserves. Their acquisition is relentless. They are buying every ounce that they can get their hands on, and they're not slowing down. 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, they're going to be over 6,000 tons of physical gold that will be in their reserves. So what is China doing? Like, they're taking all of the available cash that they get, the US dollars that from all of their exports into the United States. We as consumers in America, we buy a lot of products that are manufactured in China, and we send American dollars over to China, right? So what is China doing with those dollars? They are buying gold, right? They are buying gold feverishly and relentlessly. So not only are they the only buyer available to a miner inside China, and not only are they importing a great deal of gold through Hong Kong, but they're also going around the world and buying mines. They're buying assets anywhere and everywhere that they can get their hands on it. So they're going into Canada, they're going into Australia, they're going into the United States, they're going into Africa and buying mine assets. They are buying miners. So not only are they satisfied with what's being mined within their own country, not only are they not satisfied with whatever they're able to import into their own country, but they also want the production from around the world, and they're buying mines left, right, and center all over the place, all over the globe. So this is just China alone. So my previous video talked about Putin being a gold stacker. So Russia is doing the same thing, something very similar. They're selling oil and uranium to the United States. We buy those resources from Russia and send them US dollars, and with those US dollars, Russia is turning right around and buying gold from Western vaults and physically shipping them to their internal vaults inside Russia. So that's Russia as well. So add Russia and China together. We also have, India. India is doing the exact same thing. So take those three countries, folks, and I think that they may be preparing for something. I don't know. It's tough to predict, but definitely, what we see here, this is what they want. These gold bars, they want them in their possession inside their own country. They no longer trust the US dollar, the paper-based currency. They no longer want it. They want to translate those paper dollar bills into physical gold and silver. That's the bottom line. I think that, they are preparing themselves against a future economic collapse where the currencies that they receive in exchange for their raw materials or goods and services, they don't want the physical paper currencies inside their reserves. They want the physical gold and silver. They want physical assets that, regardless of the economic regime and the currencies that may be in existence in the future, those assets will always be worth something, right? So I think, folks, we need to pay attention here. So the question is the East outsmarting the West? One other thing that I have to add here is the people in China are physically acquiring gold and silver as well, right? So you can travel throughout any Chinese city and you will see gold shops all over the place. Like we see Dunkin' Donuts shops here in the East, in the United States, in the Eastern Seaboard, in New England. You will see gold shops like we see Starbucks here in the West. And that's because there is a demand by the people themselves to acquire physical gold and silver as well. So we don't see that here in America. We don't see that here in Canada. We don't see that in London. We don't see that in the West. Also, here in America, you cannot go into a bank and say, hey, I want to buy some gold. They'll look at you a little funny and wonder, well, what planet are you coming from? Whereas in China, in Russia, in India, you can go into any bank, any branch, and request to buy gold and silver, and they have it in their vaults right there at the branch, and you can exchange your dollar, your currency, for the physical metal. We can't do that here, but you can do that in the East. So you can go to Dubai as an example, in the United Arab Emirates. They have gold shops inside the airport. They have gold ATMs where you put in your debit card or credit card into the ATM, and you can request physical gold to come out of the machines. Like that's just unheard of here in the West, right? So the mentality is so different, so totally drastically different, the East versus the West. So and the thing is, the governments are also encouraging the people to invest and acquire gold and silver as a means to protect their economic wealth, their economic future, their own personal economic situation. So folks, I think that either we need to really step up our game here and start protecting ourselves as well, and making it widespread, where us here in the West need to start thinking in terms of physical assets that we can hold in our hands, assets that we can trade in the future if need be, or sell for whatever currency is circulating in the future, right? I cannot predict what's going to happen to the US dollar, but at some point we may have a new currency or a new global currency. Who knows? Whatever that new currency is, you can always take your physical gold and silver and translate it back into the currency of the day. So folks, thank you very much for watching. Please send me your comments and feedback. I'd love to hear from you in terms of your opinions into this topic. Are we really falling behind the curve here? And is the wealth transfer from the West to the East? Send me your comments. Let me know. Hit that like button. Greatly helps my videos and my channel to be ranked higher within YouTube. Greatly appreciate it if you do that. And also subscribe to my channel. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. Lots of great content already uploaded, and lots more great content yet to come. Thank you very much, everybody.